What's up, guys? I'm back with another review, and gosh, it's really hot upstairs in my house. Just gotta fix the shirt a little bit. Stay cool. Hi, I'm Jacob Suggs, and welcome back to another frame-by-frame film analysis for today. And before I even start, you've already decided to click the like or dislike button on this video because of one reason: the title of the movie that we're going to be talking about today. Look, either you love Batman v Superman and think it's great, either you're in the middle or you absolutely hate it. You've already made up your mind on this movie, and kind of so have I. See, I did not love Batman v Superman when it came out. In fact, I gave it a 6.57, almost as low as a 6, because I thought it was honestly pretty mediocre at the time and had a lot of plot holes. But then the Ultimate Edition came out, the R-rated 3-hour edgy cut of Batman v Superman, and I've got to say, to me, it fixed almost 99% of the problems that I had with the movie. Still not a perfect movie by any means, but a much better movie that added a lot more emotion, heart, character development, and just everything that needed to be fixed, in my opinion, really. That's not to say that the Ultimate Edition is going to change everybody's minds, and if you want to know my thoughts on the Ultimate Edition in general, with a few mild spoilers here and there, you can check out the review that I did on my channel a few months ago. It's still up there, you can check it out, and if you haven't seen Batman v Superman, massive spoilers here. This is an analysis. I'm going to be talking about this in full with my all-out opinion, so just be warned. And if you don't care about spoilers and you haven't seen Batman v Superman, just go ahead and watch, I guess, because this is your kind of video. So Batman v Superman was released on March 25th, 2016, to some pretty terrible reviews. I believe it stands on a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that kind of ignited the whole fans v critics aspect of this movie. There's a lot of people that have mixed opinions on this movie, and by that I mean some people love it, and some people don't love it so much. Opposed to the critics who just mainly didn't like the movie too much. Thankfully, Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder were able to partially save this criticism and box office failure, in a sense, by releasing the 3-hour Ultimate Cut, which some people, including myself, really enjoyed. However, there's one scene in this movie that everybody still tends to make a lot of fun of, and that's the Martha scene. When I first saw this scene in the cinema, I honestly wasn't too happy with it. I got what it was trying to convey, the basic sense of it all, but I didn't really like how it was executed. And Ben Affleck's acting, and although he was the best Batman I've ever seen, his acting kind of fell short in that moment, in my opinion. But then I gave the film a second chance, and you know what? It almost brought me to tears because I started realizing stuff about this scene. The fight doesn't end because their moms have the same name. The fight ends for numerous other reasons that are very deep within that concept. To me, it's honestly the best example of character development. And before you hit that dislike button, please hear what I have to say. And like I said, if you think this movie's a turd, you're probably going to think it's a little bit less of a turd, or you may still think it's a massive turd by the end of watching this video. I'm just expressing my personal opinion on my thoughts on this one scene and the stuff leading up to it, which made it kind of more impactful in a way, and overall an analysis of the entire film. So let's talk about the best thing about this movie. Let's talk about Batman. So I want to discuss Batman first. See, Bruce Wayne has this personal Superman in his mind that he's kind of created. He's seen what the media's made of this Kryptonian, this controversial figure. And Superman's a person that some people love in this movie and some people hate. The reasoning why is because in Man of Steel, some buildings crashed and stuff, and some people think that Superman saved the city from General Zod and his army of Kryptonians, but some people see it as he kind of helped destroy the city. And keep in mind that Bruce Wayne was there firsthand. He was helping people. He witnessed one of his friends die, his whole building collapse. A lot of people died that day. One of his former employees, who actually plays a major role in the movie, lost his legs in that scene. And he sees a little girl whose mother's died because the building that her mother works in has been destroyed. That's a lot of heavy stuff for Bruce Wayne to take in on one day. And we already know that Bruce Wayne has a troubled past dealing with Robins and stuff, which you guys already know about. And quickly, keep in mind that the first time the people of Earth saw the Superman suit was flying around in Metropolis, smashing through buildings. That's not going to make me think that you're a hero at all. And the last thing that Bruce Wayne sees in the entire scene and opening of Dawn of Justice is Superman flying through the sky with rubble from a satellite falling. He's fighting General Zod still, and Bruce Wayne sees this alien for the first time and thinks, this guy is not a hero, this guy is a menace that needs to be stopped. He's seeing on a ground level, literally and metaphorically, what Superman's capable of doing if Superman did want to destroy the entire Earth. So, it's kind of just odd that that happens, but at the same time, it's also pretty interesting. So already, right off the bat, we understand where Bruce Wayne is coming from. We understand that he's having a lot of troubles going on with his past. He's not this awesome guy that we think that he is. He's not really a hero. He's kind of a broken Batman throughout the entire movie, which I'll kind of talk about a little bit later. In his own words, Bruce Wayne says that Superman has the power to burn the whole world down if he wanted to. And he's absolutely right. He tells this to Alfred, and he's saying fighting Superman may be the most important thing he ever does in his entire life. He has to show this alien with no connections to humanity that he can be stopped by a mere mortal, or in this case, Batman. And that's why Bruce Wayne decides to wage a one-man war against Superman. He's fought villains in Gotham for 30 plus years. That is a long time, people. And he's even witnessed the death of a Robin and much, much more pain. And all this pain has been building up, and Superman coming to Earth isn't helping. He's become a Batman that I don't know. Batman uses guns in this movie. If you watch the Batmobile scene in this movie, Batman uses the shotguns and machine guns on the front of the Batmobile quite a bit. And I think that he killed quite a few people in that scene. And we even see him do a few other things that aren't so Batman-y, throughout the course of the film. And he's a broken Batman, and it really hurt me the first time seeing it. Even though I liked Ben Affleck as Batman, it really hurt me that Batman was using guns and going against his moral code, and just wasn't the Batman that I was expecting to see. I was expecting to see something closer to the Nolan Batmans, but a little bit different. And I didn't get that at all. That's not to say that Batman sucked in this movie. I really like Batman a lot in this movie. And I got all the emotional pain that he was going through, and it wasn't my Batman that I grew up seeing on the Justice League animated show, or the comic books, or the books in general. I mean, this wasn't my Batman. But the one thing that Bruce Wayne doesn't know throughout the main course of this movie is that Superman does have a human side. Clark Kent. Alright, so let's talk about Superman. Now, Superman, for the majority of the film, wants to be this hero, the bright, shiny, hopeful hero that we all know and love from the comic books. It's always cheerful and really just essentially a bright blue Boy Scout. Yet the world won't fully accept him for what he wants to do. And the thing with Superman is that he wants to protect humanity, and more importantly, be a part of humanity. But as much as he tries, he will still always be Superman, which is the way that he connects to humanity on a larger-than-life level. He understands that he's a controversial figure, but Superman doesn't want to be this controversial figure. He wants to be a hero, and it's hard for him to come to the reality that he has to work towards that. And before you say something like Henry Cavill's Superman is so depressing, like, why would he just, why can't Earth just accept him? Because frankly, if Superman did come to Earth, I would be terrified of this dude, because I'd be like on Batman's side thinking this dude could destroy all of us. He just wants to deliver justice and protect a species that he isn't part of. But yet, Superman does have a human side, which I mentioned before, in Clark Kent. See, Clark Kent grew up on this farm with his parents in Kansas. And his parents on Earth are probably the most important people in his entire life, when you really dive down to it. And that's why he loves his mother, Martha Kent, so much. She's the last one of his earthly parents left. One of the most influential people in his entire life, Pa Kent, died in that tornado in Man of Steel. And now Superman's only person that's left is his mother. We all saw, by the way, what happened when General Zod threatened Martha Kent in Man of Steel. Superman just flew by and smashed him through, like all those silos. And as awesome as that was, we know not to mess with Superman's mom anymore. Superman has more internal conflicts than external. People hate him because he always wins, yet sometimes he's forced to make decisions that he doesn't want to. And that'll haunt him for years and years, and that's what people don't understand. To Superman, hope has died. Superman is lost and depressed. And a hero that's known for being happy and cheerful, and the hero that I grew up watching on Justice League and stuff, is depressed and sad and torn and conflicted throughout the entirety of this movie. That is not the Superman that I wanted to see. I liked Man of Steel quite a bit because I got what it was going for, but here why is Superman depressed? I get that he doesn't have a lot of reasons to be happy, but at the same time, he's known for being bright and cheerful. So, this isn't my Superman either, and it's certainly not my Batman. Now, I do quickly want to bring this up. In the Ultimate Edition of this movie, Clark Kent does go to Gotham City to investigate the Batman. And his motivations are dark and gritty and gruesome, and something that Superman's motivations kind of lack. Yet Batman proclaims that he wants justice, but isn't pursuing it in the same way that Superman is, who wants to pursue it in a more bright and cheerful manner. Clark also makes misconceptions about Batman, something that Bruce did for Superman as well. And there's already a lot of tension growing within the two of them, and there's already a lot of misconceptions and already prejudgmental statements made about them. So, we already know how those two guys feel about one another. Let's talk about the fight. So Batman ignites the fight because he sees Superman in this negative way, and based on numerous factors and emotions that I've already kind of said. And Superman, on the other hand, doesn't want to fight Batman whatsoever. He actually pleads with Batman to stop and listen to him before he does anything drastic, yet Batman's too focused on his overall plan to stop and fight Superman because he already understands Superman. Which is why Superman kind of pushes him away, I guess. But the thing is, when you really think about it, both of them don't understand. They don't understand what the other one wants. They all just see each other in a negative way. Not as heroes, focusing on one idea in a different manner. And at the end of the day, though, it's really Lex Luthor that is manipulating the entire fight. He's pulling the strings here, and Batman and Superman are so concerned with how the media and other people are portraying them, as well as forming negative opinions with a little help from, the blackmail that Lex Luthor sent, that they can't seem to see what the both of them really are, heroes, just in different ways. And whenever I keep watching this movie, the more I understand that it's portraying both of these heroes in the right way. Black and blue, day versus night. Superman and Batman are fighting one another because they can't see what's really going on. They're both blind. It's bias when you really think about it. It really is. You're thinking of one person one way and you're judging them on their outward appearance when I don't know what they are on the inside. Superman's judging Batman for being this dark and gritty dude who's a vigilante in his mind. And Batman's looking at Superman like this warlord that could burn down the whole world if he wants to and take everything over. I mean, we saw that Desert Batman dream. We know how that stuff goes down. The fight is about two things and two things only: misconception and deception. Those are the two reasons why Superman and Batman are fighting in this movie, and we understand that because we both know how emotionally they've been built up this entire film. So how does this fight end? Superman claims that Batman's letting him kill Martha, talking about Lex Luthor, who kidnapped Superman's mom, and in which our heroes discover that their mothers have the same name. And let me explain why, to me, this kind of meant a lot before you start laughing. Batman is about to kill Superman. I mean, if you watch this scene, he looks like he's about to kill him. He's lifting the spear and ready to go. Superman's dying. And when Superman says that name, Batman thinks of the last thing he heard his father say before his death. His mother's name, Martha, in reference to Martha Wayne. How could Superman know this? Why is Superman saying that name? That's a very uncommon name these days. Why would Superman say that? It doesn't make any sense, right? And then Batman sees Lois Lane run in and grabs Superman's dying body. And he sees that Superman has a girlfriend. Like, what? This alien's more human than Batman thought he was. And when Lois proclaims that Superman's mother's name is Martha, it finally hits Batman that Superman, this titanic alien being, has a piece of humanity in him after all. And he has the opportunity to destroy the world, but he won't. And why? Because Superman, even though he wasn't born here or necessarily has to do what he does, loves Earth and humanity. And that is the Superman that I know. And then Batman, this is my most interesting thing that I caught in this movie. Batman takes a look at his position, and you know where he is? He's in the same position that the killer who shot his parents is in. Batman's holding the gun, or in this case, the spear. And he's about to take Superman away from Lois Lane, Martha Kent, and the entire world. And in this moment, Batman throws the spear away because he recognizes that he's become something that he didn't want to be in the first place. A killer. I'm going to be frankly honest with you. It was very hard for me to watch Batman kill on screen. I was honestly shocked, but yet I love Ben Affleck's performance as Batman. In fact, he's probably my favorite Batman. It was equally as hard seeing Superman, a character that I personally admire, be sad and mopey instead of bright and cheerful. But in this moment, Superman does something. Batman becomes the Batman I grew up watching. Because Superman has saved Batman. That's what Superman does. Superman saves people. He helps people in their times of need. And every single time that Superman's tried to help the world, he's really essentially failed because the world always sees everything he does in a good way, kind of in a negative manner, making him once again this figure of controversy that's very mixed upon the public view. So Superman's really failed at saving people, and when you think about it, Superman saves Batman from being this killer. He brings him back to the Batman that I knew. And that is why I admire this scene a lot. Superman's the hopeful hero now that I grew up reading and watching. It's the Superman that I've wanted to see this whole movie. And even though I had to wait, it was worth it. And the same goes from Batman. Batman's not this killer anymore. Batman throws away the spear. He's done. Batman is now my Batman. And Batman and Superman recognize what they really are. Heroes just pursuing justice in different ways for the first time. Batman and Superman team up incredibly fast in this movie. And although it sounds kind of choppy and stuff when you really think about it, it's not. Why? Because they don't have a lot of time, which is why Superman's been trying to tell Batman not to fight him because he wants him to help him save his mother. Batman tells Superman that he will go save his mother Martha Kent from the henchmen while Superman confronts Lex Luthor himself. Yet, after Batman saves Martha Kent, Superman's confronted by something else, and that's Doomsday. Friendship is defined as the state of being friends or forming an agreement or covenant in layman's terms. Batman and Superman, albeit quickly, have formed a bond on an emotional and human level grounded by facts, truth, and pursuit. They have made a covenant to fight against those who threaten to destroy really the basis of what they've grounded their morals on, justice. And it doesn't matter how long it takes them to become friends. What really matters is that they're now partners and can stop a greater evil from winning. And they also don't have much time to do so, so it would make sense that they have to quickly team up to prevent Lex Luthor from, winning the fight and destroying the world. And like I said, not everything is perfect in this movie. Honestly, I don't like Doomsday in this movie. He's shoveled in, he's venomed in at the last minute, and I don't like Doomsday in this movie. And that's not to mention his appearance. The CGI is awful. My friend thinks that he looks like a video game boss. And I'm getting way off topic and going on a Doomsday rant. But that being said, I wanted to talk about it with you guys because I want to make you guys know that even though I really like this movie, it certainly isn't perfect. Superman gives his life to basically save the entire world. And not only America, but the world. A world that really hated him and had mixed feelings about him. And it's that action that inspires Batman, and kind of Wonder Woman too, to form the Justice League in the next feature film. So why should I care? I mean, Superman dies in the second movie. You're kidding me, right? Well, think about it. What defines a hero? What Superman does is show the world something in this scene. He shows that at the end of the day, he wouldn't have destroyed the world, nor would he have planned to aid in the destruction of Metropolis and Man of Steel. Superman saves the world. He has already saved Batman from being a killer, and now shows humanity that he isn't afraid to make the ultimate sacrifice to protect the people of Earth. And that's what you need. That's what we all want. We want to see characters grow and develop. Batman grows by learning that Superman isn't a monster, and prevents himself, with Superman's help, from becoming a cold-blooded killer. He becomes the Batman that I grew up with. Superman grows to proving the world that he is a hero, and becomes the Superman that I know and admire and have always enjoyed watching as a kid. So good characters are bad. We love to see characters develop and grow. We love to see them emotionally fueled and charged and that we can connect to. It shows that two entirely different characters can put their differences aside and fight for what's right in the end. That and a Titanic-sized being like Superman can reach Batman. You know, a character that's just a mere mortal. And it shows that Batman, who's just this average guy in a batsuit, can confront a character like Superman. They connect on a personal, emotional, and human level, and even though both characters are night and day to one another, when you really think about it, could you have asked for anything more? Because that's what Batman and Superman are, night and day. This whole film, in my personal opinion, it doesn't have to be yours, but in my personal opinion, is the perfect example of character development, and that's why. I don't expect everybody to agree with me on this. At the end of the day, you make up your own thoughts and your own mind on a film. These are just my thoughts. I don't love this movie. I really like the director's cut a lot, but it certainly has problems. And I'm not oblivious to that. Okay, real quick, you're probably wondering why the heck everything's changed, like why the background maybe looks slightly different, and why my t-shirt is different, and my hair is a little bit different. That's because for some reason my camera decided to cut out, and I don't know why, so we're gonna finish the review off like this. So that being said, guys, those are my thoughts and kind of analysis on Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this movie in the comments below, because everybody varies on their opinions on this movie. And I'd just really like to hear what you think about this film in general. And if you have any questions for me that I didn't answer in this review, like my thoughts on the Nightmare Batman scene, and some other stuff in this movie, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments down below. But keep in mind, I may do other videos on Batman v Superman, considering I'm a massive geek and love that kind of stuff, so stay tuned to that. And as always, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. Frame by frame, remember the name, and I'll see you guys in the next frame by frame film review.